Hi. So this little segment is going to be your dorsal top of the foot reflexology flow, including the 2 new reflexes and the 3 new relaxation techniques. So the first thing we start out with, I call it the J around the malleoli, because it's like the letter J going around the ankle bones. And I'm going to use my little finger inchworms. I'm going to lift my elbows up so that I can go down, and then I'm going to drop my elbows so I can go out, forward. Here we go. Inch, 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 drop my elbows, keep inching forward, and I'm going to go kind of on either side of the Achilles tendon, as far up the calf as it's comfortable. And I could glide out, and I'll do that. You can do that 2, 3, you can do that 4 or 5 times. So again, if your client is pregnant, you would do this lightly and maybe just once, maybe, you wouldn't emphasize this. These are the reproductive reflexes, so you don't want to work them a lot or heavily. Okay, that was the J around the malleoli. So next we have the tulip, the rolling around the malleoli. So now I just do this. Fun, fun, fun. And then I'm going to work the hip, knee, leg reflex. So I use my fist to push the foot back, get it nicely firmly supported. I start my fingertips at the edge of her foot, and I'm going to inchworm. And now I've drawn them in nice and heavy. Inchworm all around in that hip, knee, leg reflex. From several different directions. You don't need to contort yourself. It's a little diagonal, straight across, slightly upward. And then while I'm here, now I'm going to continue and I'm going to go over the rainbow on the lymphatic reflex. And this is as far as I go. I don't need to go all the way around, because guess what? We're going to go from the other side. So second pass, I could do it a third time. I'm going to switch. Now my fist is going to support her ball of her foot and her whole foot back. And now I come from the other side, over the rainbow. So here's where, if I wanted to do it this way, I could do it inching this way with my fingers and go back with my thumb. Inch forward with my fingers, inch back with my thumb. That's just a one-handed lymphatic reflex. You do not have to do this. This is an alternate. Somebody in the class really loved this one better than the other one. Then we do our little croquet clamp. I'm going to do this just so that you can see that I'm only holding with these. These can just rest. And I'm going to push the ball of the foot back, out, and release. Back, out, and release. So now I'm going to just do it in the real time. So in a gentle pumping action. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to work in between each of the metatarsals. So if you drew a little line between the toes, that's where I'm going to be inchworming. This one's a little tricky. And when we get to the pinky, or the little toe side, this is the 4th shoulder reflex. So we're going to inchworm. So if you were inchworming the shoulder reflex, you only do it in the first quadrant, like maybe an inch. And then you would continue inching all the way down to finish that area. So I'm going to diagonal my fingers. Actually, you can do it with either hand. It doesn't matter. It's whichever one's comfortable for you. So I have it pushed back, nice firm support. So here's where you can see and you may try it with one finger, just to get into the groove, literally. I do it with 2. These are the 2 fingers that are working. And you can use your thumb to brace on the back of the foot if you want. This one's not really that much. It's just kind of along for the ride. So that's here. You do that between each set. I'll do it twice through each one. And I'll stay with this hand so you can see. But you can switch hands at any time to go with your own comfort. So here's where I'm going generally in between the toes, and here's if someone says, oh, I'm working the shoulder reflex, I only do it this far in that first quadrant. Okay, so that's working between the metatarsals. And then we have the snowplow right here, because now we're going to steamroll it out. Steamroll it out. And then we finish off with the ringing machine, which we learned in class 2. So it's pressure goes in both directions, right? And then you can switch which hand's on top. And don't squish up the toes. Okay, then we have the rolling the malleoli, and then we go into the back and forth. And then we effleurage nicely, connect everything up, and we draw off, right? We do our nice little nerve stroke, either both hands simultaneously or separately. You're pulling out all of the bad juju, so to speak, getting rid of the gunk. And then we compost, we toss it off. And that's the end of your session. So that would be, we would do all the techniques on the sole, and we would finish with this.